Ah, 5
I'm going
lives!
to spam.
Let's go!
That's actually kind of good.
That's good.
Good, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah,
I have to agree.
and that makes sense why I would.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Yeah!
Oh,
Okay,
Let's go!
Let's go!
and golf pro.
Yeah!
Golf pro is cool. Big stress. Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Wow. A few days ago, I realized I've been on the server for almost 5 years, and oh, how everything has changed. My 5-year anniversary is 24 days away. That's crazy to think about. I've been here for 5 years. If you don't know at all I'm talking about this Minecraft server called DiamondFire. It's a server where you can code your own games and all that snazzy stuff. It's a great server. I'd recommend it. Anyways, what's happened all these years? Well, I joined off the Red Engineer. I used to watch him a lot. He got me into command blocks, and then this video hit. This introduced tons of people to the server, including me. Now, I don't really remember much about when I first joined, but I was under Creeper 2000 at the time. And I had some green skin, whatever. But one thing I do remember is I was trying to make a stupid team system work. For about a week, me and a support member named Majcat would try to make his team system with auto-balancing. Trust me, it was a lot harder back then. He suggested me as a junior helper, which is a role to help other players in the community. It didn't really work out all that well, including how one of my current friends disagreed, but he still tried. I didn't really hear much from him after that, but next, I started to play this great game, which was one of the most popular games for a while actually. YouTuber PvP, owned by Blaze MC. It was a game which you played certain YouTubers and their characters, except you could do special stuff with them. Not really remembering much, but eventually I was able to help work on the project, and I utterly failed on making a character. But whatever, you win some, you lose some. But coming from this, I think I developed a game called Moon PvP. I don't think I ever finished it. I think it was just some endstone, honestly. But after that, I changed my name to Majestic Enders. Next up was a game that was, well, inspired by YouTuber PvP. Find the Kits. This game was what launched me into developing on DiamondFire. It was owned by one of my old friends, Bup Boy, who at the time was Creeper to Pie, or Yes Boy, whatever. It was similar to YouTuber PvP, but the kits were found on the map instead. It was a really well game for its time, where everything was not as advanced as it is now. Bup had originally created the game alone. Eventually, I was let on the dev team. Me and Bup Boy had coded this game a lot. It was essentially our main project, and people loved it. I'd always log on and see someone playing it at least. Even if it wasn't my plot, I still enjoyed it. I came back to record some footage and dear god, it is broken. But it used to be good. There was a total of 4 Find the Kits game, but only 2 and 4 are playable now. Well, if you can call them playable. The 3rd and the 5th game, a new member was introduced, Jack_5. He's cool, and he was a big help in the work. There's a lot more I could talk about, but I don't want to go on about it. That's essentially it for Find the Kits. I still continue to work on Find the Kits, and there's still plenty of my work on Find the Kits playable. But up next, I began to work on numerous things, building and developing. I made a lot of one-off projects that got nowhere, and I also tried developing on projects as well. A game I developed and built a while ago, which only my friends really saw. It was a dungeon game, but it wasn't random. You'd fight off a wave of mobs and enter a gate, path A or B. It was actually going quite well, though no one ever really saw it, sadly. But with this, I met a good amount of friends, my first group of friends in DiamondFire. I still talk to them today. It was great. We developed this game called Freeze Tag, owned by NoahMedX. You probably understand how it works, so I won't get into it. We had tons of fun in Freeze Tag. I hope if anyone watching remembers it, you had fun too. With meeting these people, I got introduced to a project called Breakdown. The game was simple. It's a PvP game, but instead of health, you knock players off the map. And with that included, every character had abilities that could break blocks, or launch people, traverse yourself, all that typical stuff. At first, I was just a normal player of the game, but eventually I became a builder. I don't think I built much, but the owner liked them at least. As a builder, you could also suggest kits, which I did. Only one of them got accepted, and it was a joke kit. It was also one of the most controversial virtual kits in the game, but whatever. The kit was based off the limits of DiamondFire, Lupion. It could also disable abilities, teleport you, and easily break blocks. It was a great game, though not functioning correctly anymore, sadly. Another game I worked on was a small game that really never got anywhere. It was based off the Roblox game Arsenal, named Evolution, or something like that. It only had one map and like 3 weapons. It wasn't the greatest, and I don't have any recollection of it all, but it wasn't much. There's definitely more that I've developed, but like always, I don't remember them. Next up was what people recognized me for. Rocketeers. Rocketeers was a PvP game, but the twist is every weapon is an explosive rocket launcher. You join the game and you're given 3 rockets to choose from. Regular, jumper, and I don't remember the last one. The game was content filled, always something to do, and always fun. There are many game modes, like Deathmatch, versus a set amount of kills. Team Deathmatch, Deathmatch for teams. Crown Keeper. A crown spawns on the map and you have to wear that crown for a minute without dying. And Infected, one of the worst game modes, it's a game you have to survive for X amount of minutes while fending off zombies. Pretty simple. Playing this game was very enjoyable. People loved it, and this is what got me Junior Helper on the server. That's actually why I started the project, to get Junior Helper, and it paid off. But I still continued. I loved the game as others did too, and eventually, the owner asked me if he could use footage of the game for a video for an event he was participating. I was very excited. Rocketeers is one of the best projects I've worked on and completed. 41661, my favorite ID. I've tried making several remakes, but it never really worked out. It didn't feel the same as the noisy and fun Rocketeers, but hey, that's alright. It was enjoyable at best. After Rocketeers, I turned away from PvP and made a game named Mini Adventure. Now, I'm not sure if this is made before or after Rocketeers, but it was around the same time. Though, the only problem was, this is one on node beta, a node where only top ranks could have access, so it wasn't played by many, but I still enjoyed creating it. The game was a puzzle game, with something that no one has done before on the server. You're a small little person with controls that aren't your normal controls. This game was third person, and included puzzles based around that fact. I wanted to try and make something unique, and I did. Anyone who could play it was able to. Eventually, a new update on DiamondFire was releasing. I don't remember much, but for the time period that the update was going through, all players had access to node beta, and people actually flocked to this game. They've heard of it because the owner of the server rated plots, and I suggested mine, and well, he played it. This happened for many other games of mine, and still happens now. But other than that, as you would have thought, I was happy because of this. Next up, I was working on 2 projects at the same time. Right now, I'll go over Showtime. Showtime was a game that was similar to Breakdown actually, but you also had health. Once again, characters with different abilities and all that. This game was one of my favorite games to develop, honestly. Anytime I had free time, I'd probably be developing on this. It was my favorite. I love Showtime, and if you haven't played it, please go give it a try. There's currently 2 Showtimes with a third in the works. The first one is a bit broken now, and it does not compare in quality to the second, which is, well, my favorite. Showtime was full of different characters that were all unique. I used to play this for so long. I'm actually the #1 player in the game. There's no cheating ever either. All legit. Hey, just saying. I love this game and the characters. They're all so cool and unique. Everyone is different, and every time you play, it's new. The game is easy to pick up, just a little bit of basic knowledge, and you'll be fighting in no time. This game is actually quite recent with the series. It started at the end of 2019 or 2020, don't remember, where it was a completely different game. the same concept then, but whatever. 2020 Showtime came around, and I loved it. I eventually asked the owner if I could help, and he let me help. I coded several characters that people loved, as well as the owner. We even did a tournament once, and the competitive plot also did really well. Sometimes people would play it over normal Showtime. Then came around Showtime 2. We started using some of the old code as well, as some is new. Eventually, we had a pretty solid game. So far, this is one of my favorite games that I've helped create. I highly recommend you go check it out. Remember that Evolution game I talked about earlier? It was based off Roblox Arsenal, that one. So I've decided to copy that entire game and turn it into Minecraft. If you don't know what Arsenal is, let me give a quick rundown. It's a gun game, where you advance your weapon by killing others, and once you advance enough, you get the golden gun, and then after that, the golden knife. The golden knife will cause you to win if you kill a player with it. Glad you got it down. In the first version of Arsenal, it was essentially that, with some cosmetics. Not really anything to die for, but still, people loved it. It was one of my most successful games, and it's existed for quite a while. There's not much to talk about in the first version, but it was still quite fun. Sadly, it's no longer playable, as I have cleared it recently. Sorry. But there is a new version, not a second version, just a revamp. In the new version, the cosmetics have been entirely revamped with more thought put into them. I love making them. It's also so nice to make. And all the guns are unique and fun to use. Along with the new version, I've added multiple things to the weapons, like scoping, mode switching, ricochet, and passing through walls. All adding on to a unique and fun experience. Many people have enjoyed these games, and still do, including the owner. It's one of his favorite games. I'm proud to make a game that many people like, and I'm hoping anyone playing it has fun on it. If you haven't already, go check it out. That's really it for now. I didn't include every single game and thing I've worked on, but I included the parts I've enjoyed the most. DiamondFire has led me to great people and friends, and I hope DiamondFire can lead you to some as well. I highly recommend DiamondFire. Even if you don't like it, I just hope you had a bit of fun. There's many more I could talk about, but you don't need to hear all that. Thank you for watching. I hope this video is worth the watch. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah. No bell notifications, you won't need those.